Hey guys, Wolf of the 305 here, coming in with Facebook today. So, I'm sure you guys have heard of them. They own Instagram, WhatsApp, and even Messenger. So, the stock over the past couple years has been climbing steadily with some pretty drastic drops, and we saw another one last week. So, is this one any different? Let's see. So, if you look at the revenue growth, it's been rising steadily about 10% each year across each continent. Specifically, if you look at Europe and the Asian Pacific, it's been growing at a much faster rate. It's been growing at about 12% more so, and even Europe's been climbing recently with the user base and the ad rates as well. So, as the user count increases, there tends to be an increase in the ad rates. Now, if you look at the average rate per user, that's also increased. It's been about 20 cents per person, so it's a good increase from 248. So that's about almost a 10% increase, so it's about 9%. And it's been continuing to do so year over year. So the numbers do seem to add up so far. But I know that's not the main reason why people seem to be into this stock. But remember, one thing to remember is that there's growth in many companies in many countries alike. So Germany and Asia specifically seem to be doing really well and seem to be providing the most growth in Facebook at the moment. Within Asia specifically, the main countries have been China, obviously, as well as some others like the Philippines and many other countries like Nepal. But other than that, it's been just an overwhelming growth in the world trends and globally. Um, it's been greater than 10% in some places like the Asian Pacific specifically, which has them really excited. Now, if you look at the monthly user rates, that's another big thing that we should look at with the launch of these family chats that have been coming around with the recent events. It's been growing at a monstrous rate, and the number of users has climbed insanely high in the last quarter, as was noted in the last report. We've had a growth of about zero point 0.3 billion, which over 2.6 billion gives you a growth rate close to about 12%. Or 11.2. Let's be real. Now, if we look at the chart here, so if you look at each bottom that we've had over the last 2 years, it seems to have a slight increase of about $25. So if it continues to drop, it would drop to around 180 is where it would be the main test. But remember, we can't know this conclusively. It could just shoot back up. Now we have to look at the balance sheet. That's where all the juice is usually. So we know that it's always known to be a beast of a balance sheet. If you could look at the growth in revenue, it's gone from 11 billion to 55 billion over the past 4 years alone. Now, time for the real fun here with the income statement. Total revenue was 27 billion in 2016. Now, in 2020, it's expected to be at 73 billion as of now. That's assuming no further growth throughout this year. But as we know, the number of people on Facebook and Instagram during these past few months, as everyone's stuck inside, has increased drastically. And we know the servers have been using Instagram at a much higher rate. So we're looking at an increase of about 6% in the first quarter alone. It's basically increased the total net income by 3 to 4 times in just 4 years. Now we're going to look at the balance sheet. So if you look at just the cash on hand, it's a monstrous number. It's 19 billion, meaning they could buy the Cheesecake Factory like 15 times. So they can buy these cash company cows also if they'd like to, but I don't think that's how Facebook wants to grow. So it'll be interesting to see what they want to use with that money. Maybe they can use it for further AI research. I know Mark Zuckerberg is very big on that. And they have pretty much no debt. They have a few short-term projects going on, so that's why it shows 277 million right now, but you have to realize that's like having debt of a couple dollars for someone who's like a millionaire in perspective. So yes, there's some debt, but that can be paid off instantly, and that's for a short-term project that they're working on, which they did not disclose. Also, they released Facebook Shops, so I'm sure some of that has gone into that release as well. They also purchased Geo recently and Jiffy as well, which is currently under review. And I know that they are making moves in various other departments, and I'm really excited about their AI purchases that should be coming or their AI development. That's something that I'm really excited about mainly. So if we look at their release of the portal, it seems to be getting some good activity. They're released at a record number of people have been signing up for it in both the company use and family use, which is a good thing because then they can monetize it. And people seem to be liking it in terms of quality. It seems to be a lot better than some other video streaming services that have been out there. But people are wondering if they're going to switch from the others to Facebook Messenger. But we'll see in the quarterly report. As we said, the daily active users has been growing, and quarter one was just a start of the new trend. There's been some massive growth from 2019 and 2018. It's been about 11 to 12% per year. The US growth has been a little bit slower actually because it's already been developed here so much. Now, a lot of these have to do with ad rates, and they said that 96% of their ad rates come from small businesses. Um, 20% has accounted for the growth from the rest of the world, not including Europe, Asia, or the US and Canada. So it seems as though South America seems to be picking up a lot. And I think that has to do a lot with the WhatsApp usage because I know WhatsApp is something that everybody uses internationally. And I know even, I'm sure everybody has relatives from other countries that have always talked about WhatsApp. It's always great when people say Facebook, nobody uses Facebook anymore, but then when you mention WhatsApp and Instagram, they're like, that's different. And then you realize that it's also owned by Facebook. So a lot of this growth has been substantiated, and it's exciting to see how they're going to be using this in the future. I know this is something that a lot of investors don't like to talk about, but the tax rates are expensive. And it's nice that Facebook actually does pay taxes. So they've been working around 15% on average, I'd say. And if you look at their percentage of the revenue, they've actually been increasing the amount they spend on their employees, which I think is a good thing again, because you want your employees to be happy and well covered. Now, if you look at the chart one more time, if you have the 50-day moving average, it's been following the trend on a bigger picture very well. So you have to. I like to look at things on a long-term perspective rather than the short term because it's much more predictable and it seems to give a better indication of the company fundamentals. And so far, it seems to be heading towards that line. And if you look at the number of buys that are coming here over the time with the volume, the last time we've had three straight bars of sell-offs was right in 2015 before there was a massive surge in the price. There was another brief period in 2018 which led to a decrease where the price went from 180 to 120, so nobody knows for sure. We could have a short-term risk, but if you believe in the company, it should be able to overcome that and the revenue should be able to grow. Just nobody can know what it's going to do in the short term. It could drop and then rise. It could just keep going straight up. You never know, and especially with a big company like Facebook, which is very digital in terms of its assets right now, it's hard to predict with just charts and just people's opinions. So I encourage you to do your own due diligence and not listen to a random guy on YouTube. Just another chart showing their revenue increase over time. I think it's very clear that they've been growing time and time again. And if you look at their monthly active paid users, that's also growing. And even if you look at their average revenue per user, that's been increasing as well across the board, all over the world, regardless of which metric you use. Facebook released a statement recently regarding the recent issues that people have been bringing up. I encourage you to all read them regarding hateful content. And they've also reiterated their core values that they want to give people a voice and they also want to protect your privacy and they want to serve everyone and not serve any bias in any way. And at the same time, they do not want to encourage any racism or anything of that regard. Now, how you feel about that, I can't tell you that or how I feel. I just think that it's something that everyone has to consider on their own because it is a big issue. So I encourage you to just form your own opinion. Don't just listen to a random guy on YouTube. With that being said, if you look at Shopify, everyone thought it would drop and retest certain levels, and recently it's just been going astronomically high. I'm not saying that Facebook is going to become Shopify because of their release of Facebook Shops, but all I'm saying is that it can't be timed and that you shouldn't just listen to some random person. At the end of the day, it's going to be whether you believe in that certain company. And for me, Facebook seems like an interesting company, and they have been releasing some interesting ideas, and I'm excited about their AI. Now, I can't suggest anything, but what I would say is that it is an interesting company. With that being said, please smash the like button and subscribe, and please comment whether you think Facebook is a buy or if there's any other stocks that you guys are looking at, specifically in the tech sector and involved in AI or anything else for that matter. Anyways, hope you guys have a great week and happy 4th of July.